We'll talk about Neil Wagner to start with and then get Ross and your thoughts all over what's going to happen tomorrow at the Basin Reserve. He's online. Ross Taylor. How are you, mate?
Very good, thank you.
Let's talk about Wags before we talk about this Aussie test. He announced his retirement yesterday and, I don't know whether you've seen the pictures or whatever, but, full of emotion as always. That's what I love about that guy, mate. I mean, he seems so real.
Oh, 100%. What you saw is what you got with Waggy. I was fortunate enough to hand him his first black cap on the tour of West Indies. I think this New Zealand bowling lineup for a number of years has been very successful, and I think that also comes down to a lot of how Wags has put himself into that setup. I think he gave the bowlers a hardness. He sort of said, "Come and follow me," and we do play on some pretty green wickets in New Zealand, but when the wickets did get flat, was where we, as a team and the captain and coach, looked to Wags, and he delivered in those tough situations. So I think he's going to be sorely missed.
Yeah, tactically, did that remove, having to have a spinner on a lot of occasions, knowing the workload that he could put himself through?
I think it was also their mindset. Brendan and Kane, the fast bowlers didn't let them give the ball away to the spinners. They love bowling, 7, 8, 9 over spells. And there was something about Waggy that I can't say I had with many of the fast bowlers. Where we started in the morning session, we were often further back in the afternoon. So it's a testament to his stamina and his fitness. But yeah, I mean, anyone who just bowls bouncer after bouncer has got to have a little bit of element of being a bit mad, but yeah, he was a character, and I think he's definitely going to be missed by the group.
It's such a competitive sport. One thing I love about it is I love the fact that it's a whole lot of individuals in a team, and so you've got to focus entirely on your own performance a lot of the time. And so is he the kind of guy that you could just leave alone knowing that he didn't need motivation, he didn't need talking to, he didn't need bringing up? Was he that kind of guy?
But he can also motivate others as well, I think. He had that South African hard-nosed attitude that he brought to the group. And I think the team looked to that in those tough times. Like anything, I think probably his batting was a little bit underrated as well. I think he got some very crucial runs at the end of innings at a good clip too, just to take a little bit of momentum, especially at home on these green wickets where, we might have been in a bit of trouble and scrapping to a score of 200, 250 was quite often down to, Waggy and the way he batted with the tail.
Did you ever face him in the nets much at full pace?
Oh yeah, he didn't shy away from bowling bouncers in the nets. And I think that's what made it, really the group. You talk about their great Aussie teams, they're Ponting having to face Brett Lee and that at full pace, facing the best bowlers in the world at training, made the team a lot better.
Would we have loved him as much if he played for somebody else, given the fact that he did a lot of leg side bounce bowling? I'm always conflicted with this because I adore him as a player because he played for us. But if there was an Aussie doing that to us all the time, I don't know if I would have felt the same,
But it's a good question. Not sure, but at the same time, if you go around the world, a lot of test playing nations are adopting it. I played county cricket, you play first class cricket, and they, when things are going tough, a lot of teams are now adopting the Neil Wagner field with not a lot of success, which just shows you how hard it is. But, a lot of players come in and play well, but, to have a format of the game where a lot of players actually try and emulate is a testament to Waggy and the way he went about his cricket.
Final question on this. He seems to me like just the ultimate teammate, and I don't know if there's a better accolade ultimately in sport that, when you play team sports that you can give a guy. Would that be fair? Yeah,
I think so. He always put team first. I think a lot of players talk about it. Do they really live it day in, day out? But, playing with Waggy, he definitely was that. He loved playing for New Zealand, loved representing his country. Obviously his adopted country, but I think every time you came on, you knew you were going into battle and you knew he had your back, which, just shows you what a person he was.
Looked at Ross Taylor with us, the first man in cricket history to play. Did you know this? 100 international matches across all three formats. You were in Hobart in 2011, mate. You top scored in that second innings with 56 out of 226. Because it was Australia, would you rank that and vote that as one of the finest moments in your career?
Oh, 100%. I think, beating Australia in a test match anywhere is a highlight, but to do it over in Australia would have to go down as one of my top three fondest moments in cricket. We were dead and buried in going into that test series. Got completely outplayed in the first test and the way the team fought back, and I think that 50 in that last innings was my slowest ever test 50, so it was nice to grind out a score and obviously the win.
Yeah, and these days, you think, it's heroic, 50, but it might take you, 100 or 200. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. It's actually what, you accomplish at the end of it. And, I hope that art's never lost to Test cricket. I go back to, and I don't know whether you're even bloody around at this time, but Mark Greatbatch in 1989 batted for more than a day to save us a test against Aussie in Perth. And I remember celebrating that like it was a bloody win. And all he did was sit there at the other end with 9 wickets gone and just basically hog the strike for a whole day. But just the application and dedication to do that. I hope it's not a lost art,
Very much so. I think, obviously, I can't really remember. I was only about 5 when Batchy did that. But but then at the same time, you hear about it for years afterwards. Applying himself for 10 and a half hours. It's ridiculous. But I totally agree. I hope it's not a lost art. And, obviously with a lot of publicity around Bazball and how entertaining it is, some of the best games of cricket over the last 2 or 3 years have been fighting draws, scrapping it out. And that's what Test cricket's about. It's not about winning and losing. I think also the element of draws and being able to bat time is why it's such a special game.
How many times did you play Australia? I was trying to count it. It must be about, 7 or 8 in tests at least, was it?
Probably a few more than that. Okay. We haven't... I was injured for the test series the last time they were out here in 2016, which just blows my mind that they haven't been out here for 8 years. Played a couple of test series here, and probably we've gone over there quite a few times. 5 or 6 times probably in my career. I probably played against them 15.
For one win?
Maybe close.
For one win?
For one win.
Yeah. I mean, look, and this is why, there's so much excitement and anticipation heading into tomorrow at the Basin Reserve because, since 1974, we've had 8 test wins against them in almost 50 tests in almost 50 years. They are so rare. And that's why I asked you that question about, what it actually means to you now. And, I hope that the whole squad is imbued with that tomorrow because it's something that, you get such a rare opportunity to do it, but you write yourself into New Zealand cricket history if you can.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if I go over the times, I think I look at this team and I think there's, a very good side and they do have the ability to put this Australian team under pressure.